Welcome back, folks. From Saskatchewan to Nova Scotia to Norway and Australia, this year's kicking staff for the Saskatchewan Roughriders features players from around the globe. And as Scott Roblin reports, the Riders are banking on their special teams being even more special starting this weekend. All right, for this edition of Huskies on the Hot Seat, we are joined by Huskies linebacker Nick Weeb. Nick, thanks for taking the time to join us. Here we go. We're going to start you off with some easy ones here. These are just lighthearted, fun ones. All right, if you weren't focused on competing in football, what sport would you put your focus towards to compete in, and why?
I played hockey growing up, so I'd probably go hockey first, but I always wanted to be a basketball player. I'm horrible at it, but I always wanted to be a basketball player, so I'd probably try at least a little bit with that.
I wanted to be a basketball player when I was younger too, but I had to be Spud Webb. He was the guy to look, because when you're height challenged,
yeah, of course,
you got to look out for those guys that can jump like him. All right, favorite movie?
Fired Up, probably.
This is what Mason said too.
Really?
What is the deal with this?
Oh, we love that movie in Glacial, I'll tell you what.
Screw football. Let's go cheer.
Start a show! What a fantastic idea! Come on, it's Nick and Sean.
All right, favorite actor?
Favorite actor? Probably Tom Hardy.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'd probably go there.
And what is your favorite movie with him? Warrior?
Warrior has to be up there. I watched it on Netflix actually the other day. Great movie.
He had some insane traps in that movie. Yeah.
The two-man fight for the championship tonight are brothers. Go war!
If you could play a role in any movie, what role and what movie?
Rudy and Rudy.
Role. Oh,
Rudy and Rudy. Rudy and Rudy. Easy.
You ready, champ?
I've been ready for this my whole life.
If you could have a dinner with anyone in the world, who would that be and why?
Dinner with anyone in the world? The quick answer for me is Bill Belichick, obviously. That's a good one, but I gotta go Will Ferrell here.
Yeah.
I think I gotta go Will Ferrell. It's tough not to.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's hilarious, right?
Yeah, he is, yeah. It's funny though, because you and Mason, same.
Really?
Yeah, you
Will
guys
Ferrell
are both,
still?
Yeah, well, so Will Ferrell could just have dinner with both of you guys.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
He can save a night.
Other weaknesses, we're slow learners, and we're not particularly good listeners. That'll be a huge problem.
We're also slow learners.
Lastly, if you guys could win the last game of the season, if you guys could win the Vanier Cup, if you could win the Vanier Cup with this group of guys, which you of course have grown very close to, maybe just put it into words what that would mean for you.
Oh, I mean, it would mean so much, especially with the fifth years we have this year. I went to high school with John Leggett, known him for 10 years probably now, and then obviously I live with Nagai over there, so it'd be pretty special to bring one home for him as well in his last year. I mean, yeah, it's tough to put into words just the feelings you would have to win that last one. Obviously, we came a little short last year, but it's a very attainable goal for us this year, I think, and hopefully we can get it done.
I would say you and Mason Nice are good choices for roommates too, considering you guys all like Will Ferrell and the same group of guys or whatever like that. You get along pretty well. Nick Weeb, thank you very much for being the Husky on the hot seat this week. The Saskatchewan Rush looked like they were going to have a bounce-back year after missing the playoffs in 2022, but a massive mid-season slump has the Rush on the outside looking in once again with 2 games remaining in the regular season. Near the midway mark of the regular season, the Rush were 5-3 and right in the mix. Then they proceeded to lose 7 of their next 8 games, and this is where they are, sitting with a record of 6-10 with 2 games remaining and once again out of the playoff picture. We're going to start off with an easy one. What is it about you, something about you that the fans out there in Rush Nation would not know?
Oh, that I like electronic kind of EDM dance music sometimes.
Like that?
Yeah, you know?
I'm going to do something active with my mom on this Mother's Day. I'm going to go for a walk with her along the river at a safe physical distance, of course. Then I'm going to take her for ice cream and buy her flowers. Whatever you're doing with your mom on Mother's Day, I hope you enjoy the day, be safe, and happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, everybody.
And there's your look at sports for now, Kevin. The NHL playoffs, of course, getting started tonight. Do you think this is finally the year, Kevin, that a Canadian team will be raising the Stanley Cup? The U of S Huskies men's basketball team played the role of underdogs throughout the entire season, starting off in the Canada West playoffs, moving into the Final 8 and all the way to the national championship game, coming up just short against Carleton. Now, it will sting for a while, but when they have a chance to reflect on the season down the road, it is definitely one that they can be proud of. And one other note concerning the Riders, Kevin, just a reminder that on Friday, the Riders are in their first preseason game as they host the BC Lions at Mosaic Stadium. There's your look at sports for now. The Saskatoon Blades seem to have a flair for their dramatics in this year's postseason after the way they came through the first round versus the Regina Pats, and even more so after the second round versus the Red Deer Rebels. To set up this Eastern Conference matchup against the Winnipeg Ice, we'll take a look at how the Blades got here. In the opening round, the Blades faced the Regina Pats. They dropped the first two games at home thanks to some brilliant performances from Connor Bedard and Stanislav Svozil before rallying and winning in 7 games, a thrilling series that featured 3 of those games decided in overtime. In round 2, the Blades dropped the first 3 games before doing something only 2 other teams in Western Hockey League history had done before them, and that's come back from being down 3 games to none to win the next 4 and pull off the reverse sweep. But now the Blades face the number 1 seeded Winnipeg Ice in the Eastern Conference Final, a team that is big, talented, and has tons of depth in their lineup, but they can be beat. The Blades did so in the regular season, and if they can pull off a reverse sweep, they can do this also. But they need to win at least 1 game in Winnipeg before the series shifts to Saskatoon for games 3 and 4 next week. Also a note in this one, because Kamloops is hosting the Memorial Cup, they are automatically in. So this year there are 2 teams in the WHL in the Mem Cup. If they beat the Seattle Thunderbirds, the Kamloops Blazers do, the winner of the Eastern Conference is that other team in the National Championship. For the first time since 1994, the Blades are in the 3rd round of the playoffs in the Eastern Conference Final. Tune into Global News at 10 for all the highlights from the Blades and the Ice in Winnipeg for Game 1. Derek Bidwell, Global Sports. Welcome back, folks. The Saskatoon Blades are continuing preparations for their opponents in the 2nd round of the WHL playoffs, the Red Deer Rebels, with Game 1 set for Friday night at SaskTel Centre. The Canadian women's hockey team faced off against the rival Americans on Monday night with first place in Group A at the World Hockey Championships up for grabs. Jacob Carr has those highlights.
Derek Bidwell is at SaskTel Centre to set up Game 4.
All right, once again, we are back up here in the press box at SaskTel Centre, this time to set up Game 4, and once again, I'm joined by Blades assistant coach, Dan De Silva. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, so your head coach, who, by the way, today was named the WHL Coach of the Year, Brennan Sawney, he said yesterday following Game 3 that if you're still breathing, you're still alive. If you're still alive, you're going to still be fighting. Just a little bit more on that mantra as you guys approach Game 4, which could be the beginning of a 4-game winning streak as well. Saskatoon Blades taking on the Winnipeg Ice, of course, in Game 4, a do-or-die game for the Blades, as we mentioned. Fingers crossed, maybe the start of a 4-game winning streak as well. He is Dan De Silva, and we'll have all the highlights for you tonight on Global News at 10. Game 4 between the Winnipeg Ice and the Saskatoon Blades.
Well, it's all come down to this, a 7th and deciding game between the Saskatoon Blades and the Regina Pats to see who will advance to the 2nd round of the WHL playoffs and who will have their season come to an end. Derek Bidwell is down at SaskTel Centre to set up Game 7 later tonight.
We are back here in the press box at SaskTel Centre. He is Les Lazaruk, of course, the voice of the Saskatoon Blades, and we are getting set for Game 7 between the Pats and the Blades, tied at 3. All right, you and I thought this was going to be close heading in. Didn't know it was going to be this close, but it doesn't get any closer now. Your thoughts going into Game 7?
Anything can happen.
And the Blades then would be moving on, of course. All right, we'll wait and see. He is Les Lazaruk. He will have the radio call for you tonight for Game 7 between the Blades and the Pats, and I, of course, will have the highlights for you tonight on Global Sports at 10. We are joined by Rush Captain Ryan Dilks. How you doing? Thanks for being a part of this. Good to see you again.
Happy to be back.
Happy to see you.
Thanks for having me.
All right. We'll start off with a light one. What is it about you, something about you that the fans out there in Rush Nation that will be watching this don't know? We talked about dream vacations. We talked about sports dream vacations. What about a Canadian dream vacation? So money is no object. We're paying for this. Global's got this. Yeah, so you can go anywhere in Canada. Where are you going?
Other than Saskatoon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Saskatoon in the summer. We're not in Saskatoon in the winter.
Okay, I'm going to have to go probably west on the island, Victoria.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, really
beautiful.
good spot.
Yeah, lived there a couple summers.
Yeah.
No complaints.
I try to go back to Victoria every year. It's a beautiful place for sure. I'm going to do something active with my mom on this Mother's Day. I'm going to go for a walk with her along the river at a safe physical distance, of course. Then I'm going to take her for ice cream and buy her flowers. Whatever you're doing with your mom on Mother's Day, I hope you enjoy the day, be safe, and happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, everybody.
I actually do. I think the Edmonton Oilers, this is the year for them. I know we've been saying that the last few years, it seems, but something about that team, I feel like they're ready to win it this year. So, yeah, that's going to be my Stanley Cup pick, Edmonton Oilers, to break the drought, like you said.
I want the drought broken for sure. I'm going to say Toronto, just because at some point it has to happen. And there are a lot of Maple Leafs fans in this country, of course, coast to coast, as well as Montreal Canadiens, Oilers fans, Jets fans, Flames, but a lot of Leafs fans. I don't know, for whatever reason, I think it might happen this year. As long as it's a Canadian team, I'll be happy.
Yeah, the Leafs just need to worry about getting through one series first before they can get to the rest. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be a great playoffs, though. Thanks, Derek.